Welcome to Cargo Insights TV. My name is Shreyansh Kohli and we are here today at South Asia's largest exhibition, IICS 2025. We are here shooting a mini podcast series by the name of Minds Behind the Movement. And today we have with us Mr. Mehul, the CEO and founder of Pace Logistics. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. Everything's well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to have you here on board with us.
Thank you.
Can we begin with a brief introduction?
Pace Global Logistics. We're based out of California, Los Angeles, California, in the U.S. We started this company about 9 years ago, and what we do is we basically are a partner for anyone in, let's say, since we're here in India, is anyone as an agent in India looking for a partner in the U.S. to help them, to offer services to and from the U.S.
All right. So, how did you get into this business?
I've been self-employed for the last 35 years. Initially, I was with a part of the family business where we were doing trading, international trade. Focus was basically more on Africa. So I've lived in England, I've lived in Dubai, I've lived in Africa, in the Congo. After a while, with the internet, basically, the world became smaller. So there was no need for people like me in trading. Right, living in Africa or doing business in Africa, people, there was the days where you need an export house, you charge a commission because the banking was not there and all that. Now people are traveling, they're going everywhere. So the need for traders or export houses, as you had earlier, shrank, right? Now, when this happened, it's like, what do I do, right? The only other thing I knew was logistics, because when you're a trader doing physical movement of goods, you always have an in-house logistics department, for freight, shipping, you have shipping contracts and all that. So that's the only other thing I knew. So that's why I said, okay, let me go into that. Simple.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about how you approach business problems.
Business problems, how I approach them is like, anything in life. It's like when you go to a doctor, right? If you understand the symptoms, then you can find a treatment, right? So it's the same thing in logistics, right? What we do, everyone does the same thing. What people don't understand is the problem, right? Like I was just earlier with another agent, and they said that they had a shipment which was not released even after 24 hours from the airline. We don't know why. I said, did you ask your partner? No, we don't know. I said, okay, can you give me a tracking number? So they gave me a tracking number. And then I tracked it and I said, the problem is that the shipment came in parts. You had 100 pieces, 20 came first, 30 came later, and then 50 came later on.
Right.
So that's why the airline did release it. Well, we didn't know that. Our agent didn't tell us. So if you understand the problem, then you can find a solution. Most people don't want to understand the problem. All they want to do is sell something that's out of the box, right? Sell. I do air freight, ocean freight, this, that. But if you don't understand your customer, you don't understand the problem, it's very difficult to gain the business, right? So, every forwarder, some forwarders, I do pharmaceuticals. There's another one that said, the problem that we're having is that when we do the deliveries, there is not a discrepancy, but a surge in temperature. You're supposed to maintain a temperature between 15 and 25, right? But we've done 2 or 3 deliveries, but what is happening is that the temperature is actually going -5 degrees, right? We're losing the business. Why, right? So then again, I had to explain them. The problem is like as any vehicle, right? And when you're doing deliveries, you've got a genset that actually maintains the temperature, right? But if you're not servicing the genset, it's like a vehicle. If you don't service it, if you don't, whether it's the engine, the tires, or any pressure, what's going to happen is that it will not perform, right? So when you're not servicing the genset, you'll start getting the fluctuations in temperature. Now, I said, well, we have obviously our partners that we work with, make sure that they service it every 3 months, that genset, this, that. So therefore, you will not have that problem. I didn't just go and say, give me the business, and I'm sure I can do it better than the other guy. Simple.
So how, even in the example you mentioned, there are so many aspects that need to be handled, and what you're delivering has to be up to a mark. So how does Pace in general is able to maintain that quality of service delivery?
Trust and it's really transparency, right? Service levels, obviously, as a company, Yes, I'm of Indian origin, but born in, raised in the U.S. Right. I think service is very important. Whether you go to the U.S., if you go to a restaurant, anywhere, everything is about service, right? If you get good service, you get tip. You don't, you don't. Whether you get a haircut, so service is very, since growing up and spending over 35 years in the U.S., it's always been service, 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 right? If you go to a restaurant, if you don't like the food, if you say I'm sorry, I don't like it, it's okay. You know what? I'll get you another, thing, right? If you buy something on Amazon, you can actually return it even after a year, right?
Oh, okay.
It's service. If you don't like it, you have every right to return it, and and that's the way. That's the same approach that I've taken. Is really listen to the customer, right? If the customer, even though I know at the end of the day, customer is wrong, right? It's okay. Put the customer first. And trust me, business will come. So it's more the American way. And it's like Amazon. I mean, if you look Jeff Bezos, right? He has a board meeting, right? He has 5 or 6 directors, right? But he always has an empty seat. You know what was that for? It's a customer.
Oh,
It's for the customer.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, if you put the customer first, automatically the business will listen to your customer. Most people don't want to listen to the customer. They just don't want to. And that's being born and raised, not born, but mostly raised in an environment and the mindset. I've always understood it's about service, right? And it's about giving your best. If you're not happy with it, it's okay. Don't worry. And I tell listen, if you're not happy, don't pay me. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Simple.
All right. So at your booth, you have a poker table set up. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's the idea behind it?
Yeah, it's actually a roulette table, right? And again, why not a regular booth, right? It's simple because I think out of the box, right? If I'm going to have a same booth as every one of them, and with all due respect to everyone over here, is that I do air freight, ocean freight, this, that. I list all the services over here, right? I'm not going to stand out, right? When someone sees that in logistics, I bought a casino in logistics, it's like, wow, this guy actually thinks outside of the box, right? Again, with all due respect to everyone, I don't give people diaries, I don't give pens. I give cash, right? A $2 note. Why? Right? Again, it's an investment in the future. I'm willing to put my, how do I say it? I'm putting one step forward and saying, here's my $2. I'm giving you money, right? I'm giving you a guarantee that if you're not happy, you know that. That's what I'm doing. Simple.
All right.
It's very different, than what, and that's how I've been successful in what I do, is just really thinking out of the box. And when people look at it, if that guy does a booth like this, my solutions are also out of the box because I listen to you, right? There's no one size fits all in my business, right? Every customer, different requirements. I listen to the customer, understand the problems, understand the challenges, find a solution that's tailored for them. And that's what reflects when I do a booth like that. I think out of the box.
So, I'm sure that you have such a rich experience and you've been invested into multiple businesses over the years. But I'm sure where you are now has been very different from where you started.
Correct.
So what is that one skill that you think is very important to learn early on, which will compound your growth over time?
Languages.
Languages.
Exactly. People don't understand. I speak 8 languages.
Okay.
Okay. Yesterday I had an event. Okay. I could communicate with people in Spanish, French. I speak obviously English. I speak Gujarati. I speak Hindi. Multiple languages, or even Swahili, Lingala, which is African languages. So whenever I'm traveling, right, I meet someone from Africa, right? So where are you from? Kenya. I start speaking in Swahili, right? The guy yesterday from France. When you speak their language, trust me, that whatever that barrier drops. You're one of them now, right? I had an experience. I was in Marrakesh last year, right? And again, I had there's a competitor of mine who was there, and because it was in Africa, I spoke French. Morocco speaking French. I spoke multiple languages, right? And everyone that I spoke to, basically, I spoke in their language, most of them. And then this lady comes up to me. She goes, "Are you Mehul?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I spoken to a lot of these same guys, but all of them are saying they want to work with you because you speak the language." And how? And explain it. I was fortunate to live in multiple countries around the world. I feel language is very, very important, right? Most people don't. right? Invest in that. But when you're able to that skill of language today, I thank my parents for teaching me Gujarati. I thank Bollywood for teaching me Hindi. Okay, and obviously living in multiple countries, traveling the world. I think language is very, very important. You know, anyone you, even if you know a few words, when you greet the other person in their language, trust me, it's done.
All right.
I think that's very important.
That's
Which you may or may not agree, but trust me, my industry, languages, and I encourage my daughter today. My daughters have two daughters. You know, one's just she got an award from the state of California for in Spanish. I said focus on languages.
So I think this is very much true for our industry where you have international clients also.
Right.
But let's say you're talking about any other industry in general. What skill would that be for them?
Any industry, I don't think it's look. No one can teach you anything. You know, whether it's sales, okay, whatever you learn in textbooks, right? Getting a degree and all that. One is really it's having being transparent.
Being transparent.
Okay. Being transparent and take ownership, right? We all screw up in life, right?
Yep.
Don't blame each other, right? If you make a mistake, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, but this is what happened. But you know what? At the same time, this is what I'm going to do, right? The way I teach my team is that every day you have to update your customers. When you have a problem, go to the customer with a solution. He'll be fine, right? A lot of people, what they do is they hide behind, yes, problems will happen, right? In any industry, right? Manufacturing, this, that, trading, any industry, problems are bound to happen. If anyone says, I don't have problems, they're lying. But when you have a problem, take ownership. If it's your fault, say, I'm sorry. Most people don't do that. They don't take ownership. They say, no, you did this. Why? By me accepting that I am at fault does not make me any incompetent or anything like that. We're humans. We make mistakes.
So
Simple.
What's done is done.
Exactly.
Take ownership and move on.
Move on,
Next.
and you know what? I'm sorry. But you know what? I made a mistake here, but I've corrected it, and this is the new solution, and I'm sorry. Most people can't accept when they're at fault. It's very simple.
Okay, now let's move on to the next segment of the podcast. This is going to be a rapid fire round. I'm
Okay.
going to ask you 5 questions and you have to keep your answers short. You'll only have 5 seconds to answer.
Okay,
Should we get started?
go ahead.
All right. What's your favorite country to travel to?
Morocco.
First instinct that you have under pressure?
Under pressure, first instinct, calm down.
What is the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning?
First thing I do, actually watch the news.
All right.
Because
You-
right now today every day is a different day, right? If I know what's going on in the world, I know the problems that I'm gonna get.
Speed or stability?
Stability.
Advice that you'd give to your younger self?
My younger self, giving advice, work-life balance. I wish I had that earlier.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Any
you.
message you have for the audience?
No, honestly, it's I live in the US. I come once a year to India. India has been warm, welcoming, and hope to see everyone next year.
All right, thank you so much for your time. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.